Okay, let's go down a couple hundred miles down south on I-95 from Shark Nation Radio headquarters here in Greater Daytona to, I guess, northern Dade, Broward, and even parts of Palm Beach County, namely Debbie Wasserman Schultz's district. You heard us talk about her with Diamond and Silk yesterday, and now we're going to talk to her likely Republican opponent for Congress, Joe Kaufman, who's a national security expert and is on with me on the line. Joe, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I want to talk all about you. You've had an interesting life, but the news about your likely opponent is so shocking right now. I got to give you a chance to comment on that because the audience really wants to hear about the Awan brothers and whether her apparently being very stressed out right now is just an act or if it's the real deal.
Well, I don't know if your listeners saw the video of Debbie when she was threatening the Capitol Police, but but she looked very nervous. She was crying, and I think those were actual tears, not the crocodile tears from when she was talking about her Jewish heart when she said she would support the Iran deal. I think they were actual tears, and she looked nervous and she was sweating, and obviously she knows that there's something regarding her computers, something on there that she doesn't want the police to see, or that she's afraid if they have already seen it that it's going to get out. And I believe because of that, Debbie Wasserman Schultz should be arrested for trying to inhibit the police from investigating Awan and his brothers. Because that's exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever think to yourself, it would be fun to get in a little trash talk conversation with President Trump about who, I guess him last November, faced an opponent who is less appealing and more corrupt. You're probably the only person who might have a shot at that.
That may be true. That may be true. And Debbie knows something that people don't, and it should come out, and I hope it does. I hope the fact that she's in a position of power, that doesn't stop her from being investigated herself.
No one should be above the law.
I think definitely if her name were Trump, she would have been arrested, and the media would be calling for the death penalty.
Well, the media does that without evidence already, practically, about Trump. Here we have
Absolutely.
A lot of evidence.
No doubt.
And what about?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What about the connection with her brother investigating this? I don't know if that's just an internet rumor, and about also, what's the other thing besides her brother? Her basically trying to disguise her voice on a voicemail message like a bad prank call. I mean, it's just, there's so much there.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I hope the truth comes out, and I hope she is investigated. And like I said, I think she should be arrested herself for trying to stop an investigation. The other stuff, that's stuff that I can't control, that none of us can control. But she shouldn't be treated any differently than anybody else. And if it were just any citizen, I think she would have been taken in for questioning. But the fact that she's a congresswoman, I think they're giving her a lot of leeway, which she shouldn't have. She tried to stop an investigation, and she should pay a penalty for it.
One thing Americans, whether they're Trump supporters or not, really resent is politicians thinking the law does not apply to them. And that even applies to McCain going to the front of the line. I hate to say it. I know you wished him well on your Twitter page, going to the front of the line for his treatment when giving Obamacare to the rest of us. But back to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it's like the law doesn't apply. And that's why so many people were so outraged by the Clintons.
Well, this has always been the case with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She always takes the spotlight in a negative way. When she was DNC chair, she had her email scandal, and she paid for it. She had to resign because of it. And I'm sure she didn't want to resign because for her that was a paycheck. I think frankly speaking, I think everything for her is a paycheck. I don't think she does anything to help the community. I know, there are parts of District 23 that I won't say they're falling apart, but they're absolutely not not in the type of quality as the rest of the district. Mm-hmm. And people within those communities complain, because they're in such arrears. They're constantly having to do renovations.
Can you give me specifics? Are you talking about West Palm Beach in particular? I don't know.
Well, actually, the district, you mentioned Palm Beach, but the district actually is only in Broward and Miami-Dade. It's actually from mid to South Broward, and then you have parts of Miami-Dade in the district.
Gotcha. I know it's weird.
When you speak to the constituents that are living in these areas, probably people that have voted Democrat for forever, and you ask them what Debbie Wasserman Schultz has done for them in the past 10 plus years, they'll tell you frankly nothing, because the community's only gotten worse, not better. And it's very important for me to go into those communities, because those communities are part of the district just as the wealthy areas are. It's very important for me to see those areas, the betterment of those areas.
Something tells me she gives enough attention to, say, Bal Harbor, where there are a lot of wealthy donors. I think that's the district, right?
Bal Harbor's definitely part of the district.
Yeah, I'm sure she gives plenty of concern over there, where they can write her big checks. And you know what? I got to mention one other thing. I want to get to you and your own background and qualifications, but I can't, in good conscience, not mention the name Bernie Sanders if we're talking about Debbie Wasserman Schultz, just to remind people of that.
Well, definitely she's had her fights with Bernie, and it certainly has helped. It's helped my campaign. I mean, in 2016, I was the Republican nominee. I was also the Republican nominee in 2014.
Third time's the charm, hopefully.
The numbers, I believe so, but you could see the numbers have changed. Definitely my name recognition went up, sky high in 2016 in the district. And because of that, all the Republicans coming out to vote knew who I was, and most of the Democrats coming to vote knew who I was. And surprisingly, I won over a lot of Democrats. I received a huge crossover vote in 2016, something that no Republican in the history of running against Wasserman Schultz has ever received. I received 41% of the vote. I received over 130,000 votes. I only needed literally 27,000 votes to literally win the election against Debbie. And it's because I had a huge crossover appeal. And it wasn't just Debbie's scandals, although that definitely
they didn't know
helped.
about them yet. They really, in the last 2 years, the bad ones didn't come out. Like the
bad ones didn't come out, but but definitely she had a fight with Bernie. She there were a portion of the Democrats that were upset over that. She had her email scandal already. So there were things that definitely affected the election in a big way. But I reached Democrats and independents, and I received 41% of the vote over that. Only 25% of the vote is Republican. That's the Republican registration in the area. So if you figure if 20% of the Republicans came out to vote, then over half my vote came from Democrats and independents, which was huge, and it's only growing now. Yeah,
we only have about 3 minutes left. So besides the fact that you're running against one of the most vile human beings in the universe, let's talk a little bit about your own personal qualifications. National security is something you mentioned, and the world is not getting any less scary. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about your background there.
No doubt. No, I've been doing counterterrorism research, writing, and lectures for the past 15 plus years, since before 9/11. I actually discussed, the 9/11 attack exactly 1 month before 9/11. I said that the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center was not an aberration, that it was going to happen again, and it did exactly 1 month later. And ever since then, I've devoted my life to fighting against terrorism. I've done consulting work with different agencies. I've been involved in the shutdown of different terrorist charities inside and outside the United States, and I'm extremely proud of my work in that field.
What do you think are the biggest threats right now? I mean, it could be so many things: North Korea, ISIS, Iran. I mean, if you listen to the Democrats, Russia. What do you think it could be?
Well, the way that I look at it, first of all, North Korea, when Bill Clinton was in office, there were huge sanctions passed against North Korea. they were passed to try to stop North Korea from becoming from obtaining nuclear weapons. And the truth is, today, North Korea, is one of the largest powerhouses of nuclear weaponry in the world, and their quest is to perfect it. So I look at that situation, and then I compare to Iran's situation, where Iran is actively trying to get nuclear weapons, and we have some kind of phony deal that's put in place that gives Iran time to build these nuclear weapons and perfect these nuclear weapons. So I say to the world, to your listeners and to the world, don't forget about what happened with North Korea, that we tried to stop North Korea, and in the end we couldn't, but now we're allowing Iran to become another North Korea, and that needs to be stopped immediately. And God willing, it's by revolution, but if it has to be done by some type of military action. And I've been saying that from the start, and I got criticized for it a lot, in the past for saying that some type of military action needs to be taken against Iran. But the truth is that we can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons, and that indeed is the greatest threat to the world. It's not Russia. North Korea already has them, and it's hard to stop a country that already has them, but at least we can stop Iran from getting them.
Finally, how do people follow you, Joe?
You can go to our website, www.kaufmanforcongress.com. That's KAUFMANFOR Congress.com.
Great. Thank you for coming on. Hope to have you on again.